Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John,
I'm Alex.
and we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? How we doing? Manchester United with a big win against Tottenham Hotspur. Lads, it's Tottenham at home, 2-0. Sir, could have been way more. I think we said that on the weekend after dropping points against Newcastle. But today, it was in no doubt. I'll tell you what, you watch NBC Sports, Lee Dixon, I thought he'd play for Arsenal. He was like, yeah, they're playing all right. But United, just a dominant performance. Should have scored more. Rashford probably should have a brace, at least a goal, but an unbelievable team performance. The defense just shut down Harry Kane and Son. The midfield was outrageous. Casemiro especially, just a high work rate. Fred with moments of magic. I'll tell you what, if he put it all together, he'd be one of the best players in the world. That crazy Fred. Bruno, outrageously good. Anthony chipping in as well. De Gea with little to do. And shout out to Eric Ten Hag. Tell you what, a lot of people calling for Ronaldo to start. A lot of people calling for a lot of changes. But either way, he got it right today. And a huge performance. A huge 3 points, and a massive confidence boost heading into the weekend to an informed Chelsea, sir. Let's go. How are we feeling?
What a game. What a game. I mean, I felt like I was watching Manchester United like 10 years ago. Honestly, I haven't seen United come out ready to dominate at home in a long time like that. That was Arsenal plus, sir. We were asking for them to show up like they did against Arsenal. That was even better. This is Eric Ten Hag ball. This is the first time we've seen it. We saw glimpses of some triangles in preseason. We saw them get dusted early when they tried to play like this. Ten Hag was pragmatic, and now he's unleashing at home against big opponents, and they were under the cosh. We outworked them. We outplayed them. The manager's tactics were superior to Conte. They had no response for those players playing for the badge. What a performance for a full 90 minutes. The question is, how can we keep this up? Consistency is key. We talked about Fred against Newcastle United. You look at Fred today, night and day. You can have some bad games. But the thing about this is we saw a little bit of this against Arsenal. Now we see the complete product Tottenham. What are we going to look like against Chelsea? We did play Newcastle. If we played anything like we did today against Newcastle, we would have beat Newcastle 5-0. We should have beat Spurs 4-0.
Yep.
What a performance. I'm so proud to be a Manchester United fan today. Absolutely buzzing.
Buzzing. Absolutely, sir. You said it right. Just a great performance from the lads all around. Like you almost can't single any single individual because the team played so well collectively. They were hunting in packs. They were high pressing. They held onto the ball well. Like you said, they outworked Spurs every second of the match. From the beginning to the very end, won every 50-50 ball, put their body on the line, played composed. If we were a little bit more composed, there would have been more goals. But it's a great performance. Sets the new bar under Eric Ten Hag. The best match we've seen under this manager. One of the best performances we've seen in years, to be honest. Like you said, we've even gotten big results against big teams. But I don't think we've ever put together such a complete 90-minute performance against a team of that caliber. It's only Spurs, but they're in good form. And, they're a team that we're going to be fighting for the top four. And a lot to be excited about. Rashford, I still think he's better on the left, but we don't have many options up front. There's Ronaldo drama, of course. Sorry, he walked in the 90th minute. He'd walk off the 80th minute. Like, what's the big deal? Like, Ronaldo, of course he's leaving early. He's got plans, bud. He's got a good leg lifts when he gets home. So people are going to be talking about the controversy there, but at the end of the day, let the haters hate. I think United fans, they know Ronaldo. That's part of the deal. Whatever. We're all good. He's still got a role to play. And now it's about the performance today. And how well this team played, and you're starting to see that Casemiro-Fred combo that you see under Brazil so often with Bruno up front. It was great. It was a great game to watch. You would have liked more goals, like you said, because it kept it nervy until Bruno got that second, and even then you're still a little nervy. But happy days, feeling good. How are we feeling?
Just an absolute dominant performance. A dominant performance by Manchester United at home. I got to say that again. A dominant performance by Manchester United at home against an opponent we should dominate. That is Tottenham Soft Serve FC, Hair Plugs FC, Harry Kane, Take Me to City FC. I mean, what a game. Smiling ear to ear. It's, you feel it in your heart when you see the team play like that. when you see the team show up when they should show up after all the lows we've been through, you get a different type of feeling. And man, it was, dare I say it, it was fun to watch. It was Manchester United was a great watch. I might replay the game again. Like that's how good we played today. I'd watch it again. I can't say the same about Newcastle. A lot of the games this season, maybe the Ammonia FCs, but this game I probably will watch it again tonight. And that is how good we played.
Can't believe it.
And that is a huge statement from the manager. Way to step up. And now I think that was a shot across the bow. We got to go to Chelsea and get 3 points.
Totally right. Fun to watch. Johnny boy, my good friend. I haven't heard you speak like that in how long? I don't know. Maybe I'm.
But how good was it?
It was so good. It was so good that like you never rewatch games, even when we got a result. Today, it was just a complete performance. The team just went out there. Arsenal, arguably a better team. I don't even think we played as well as we played today. Even Liverpool, obviously probably a better team. I don't think we played as well today. It was just a complete performance. Fun to watch. We just they had never even had a sniff at it, sir. And I tell you what, Lee Dixon, the whole game, he's like, Spurs have been all right. Spurs have been all right, really? It's just like we dominated the game. If it was the opposite, they would be like, oh my goodness, Conte. But that's not neither here nor there. We're just getting excited because it's hot in the pod room. We're doing it remote. John's getting over a bug, and I'm sweating. I'm sweating my ass off over here. But hey, it's worth it because that was a great 3 points. Now it's about Chelsea. Now it's about going down there and just smacking them around.
I'm speechless. I'm without speech.
Never.
Sir, quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the America Red Devils and you want to support this small-time operation, that's right. We don't have any commercial sponsors on the podcast. We want to keep that sponsor-free because we want you, the fans, to support us directly. We think that is the way to do it in 2022. If you want to support us, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/America Red Devils. That is the website. You can check it out. You can sign up with 4 tiers. We give away pins, stickers, scarves, shirts, you name it. Get a behind-the-scenes monthly podcast episode and a ton of other great benefits. And you get to join our great Patreon community. Also, if you want to support us, check out our store, americadevils.store. We have great merchandise. You can get scarves, hoodies, beanies, lots more. Check it out. Everything you buy supports a small-time operation. Also, check out our blog, www.americareddevils.com. We have great fan-generated blog content. We're all about the for fan, by fan, that biased fan take from the couch. You want more of it, please visit our website and check it out and support fan-generated content. That's what we're all about, sir. Tell them about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews or 5-star reviews of the American Red Devils, wherever you listen. It's a great way to support the pod. It helps us get found organically, and even better, we're giving away free merch from now until the end of time. All you have to do is write a 5-star review wherever you listen and send a screenshot to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I will personally pick, pack, and ship some free American Red Devil gear. Send it straight to your door anywhere in the world. We're still doing it, and we got a great review from Beta Boys. Content for the fans. The boys chop it up on all things United. Great sounding board for how fans truly feel on the week-to-week, game-to-game basis. Great social and Discord presence as well. Glory, glory, Man United. Thank you, Beta Boys. Thank you to all the American Red Devil fans out there writing those great reviews, sir. They should be coming in hot and heavy right now because United... Newcastle should have gotten 3 points today. We got all 3 points and deserved it. Dominated a match like we haven't seen in a long time.
No, absolutely dominant. Let's get into it. Manchester United 2, Spurs 0 at Old Trafford. Let's get into that lineup. We had Dave Saves, world number 1 in net. Luke, the impossible meat pie shot is back. He's back.
He's back.
The impossible. We got to eat the
good.
meat pie there.
You played well. I'm eating humble pie.
Played very good. Martinez, Varane, center back combo, and Delo at right back. Fred, Casemiro, midfield 2. Although it was more like Casemiro holding with Fred and Bruno in the pivot. Yep. Bruno at 10, Sancho on the left, Rashford at 9, Antony on the right. What'd you make of this lineup?
I wasn't too surprised with this lineup. Eriksen not ready to feature. Spurs high-flying team at the moment, at least heading into this game. So you want to stifle them with Fred and Casemiro. Obviously, Fred didn't play great against Newcastle. Rashford, up at number 9. You texted me, sir. I felt the same thing. That's not his best position. He's playing best on the left, and even showed it today at times when he was kind of coming in, but not too shocking at 11. This should be strong enough to beat a Spurs side, even with hair plug Conte. What do you think?
Look, Fred didn't play well against Newcastle. I was a little nervous,
Yep.
given that Tottenham has been playing better than Newcastle. And obviously, Rashford at 9, best on the left. Ronaldo sits Ronaldo again. And I'll tell you, I kind of question that. And then after the first minute of play, you can see why. He wanted the
Yep.
high energy, high intensity, heavy metal press, the Dutch press, the Ten Hag ball. So it made sense to me in what Rashford gives you from sort of the pressing side. No real feedback. This is a solid 11 and should do it at home. And man, let's get into it. We came out United ready to get to Tottenham. It was cagey at the start, but United came through just dominating. 7th minute, Fred forces the keeper into a decent save. 11th minute, Anthony clips the post with a nice curler. That left boot.
It's nice.
Ooh.
It's nice. That was a great shot. It came back in. It was a beauty. He really has a nice left foot. One trick pony.
Sorry,
it's a nice trick.
Putting that English on it. I mean, this is just what a player. And he's so young. So again, hopefully he lives up to that price tag. That left boot should be worth a pretty penny.
It certainly looks worth it.
21st minute, great chance for Rashford, forces keeper into a good save, but he should have scored. I think this is the theme. Rashford getting great opportunities, Lloris saving them, but he's not shooting for the corners, I will say.
Totally. That was probably the only smart thing Lee Dixon said all day. This chance especially, that we had a bunch of kind of outside
He's
the box.
Head down here.
Good
He's
chance.
Very head down.
He is. He needs to pull his head up and see. He likes to power it. He's a power player. He's a speed player. I get it. That's a big part of his game. But in that opportunity, right, Fred picks him up really well. He's got good space. He's in on goal against Lloris. He needs to just place it, pass it into that back corner, and he goes for power. And Lloris is a hell of a keeper, and showed it today, right?
Yeah, and it's not really a criticism against Rashford. It's not like that big of a criticism, really, in my opinion. It's just one of those things that's showing that is something. If he's going to play 9 for Manchester United, he needs to develop, right? It's don't try to blast into the net. I think Ole talked about that when he was coaching. It's like worry about passing into the net. 30 minute, Bruno with a nice hit from a free kick. Another good save from Lloris. He was doing work today. 24th minute, Shaw with a nice one-timer volley. Another save from Lloris. And 29th minute, Casemiro. Woo! I told you his shooting capability
He's
here.
Good. And a couple good passes,
just wide, too. No, Casemiro had a great game. And look, that was really the first half. But the real theme about how we were playing was Casemiro was holding in the middle of the park, and Fred and Bruno were getting forward. So Fred was getting forward, and also without the ball, Fred was pressing up as high as their 18-yard box and covering as deep as our half of the field. So Fred was doing all the dirty work all over the field, while Casemiro and Bruno stayed home up top, Casemiro stayed home in the back, and Fred was going box to box all day and getting forward and being threatening. So I think Casemiro doing the job really was able to unlock Fred to go forward like we've seen him do for Brazil, but haven't seen as much for Manchester United. But such great balance in our shape with Shaw and Dalot getting forward on the overlap with Sancho and Anthony. Obviously the finishing could have been better, but as far as the shape and the tactics, we imposed our will on our opponent in that first half, and it was stick with the same game plan coming out the second.
100%. Very well said. The work that Fred does off the ball when he doesn't have the ball, that is probably the strongest part of his game. He showed it today. He was all over the pitch, dominated. Him and Casemiro just breaking down play in that midfield. That's where the game was going to be won or lost. And then at the same time, fullbacks pushing up, and also the wingers coming back to play defense and in support. Like Anthony running back, Rashford running back, Sancho running back. Everyone, it was just high work rate, total 11, chasing Spurs in packs when they had the ball. They were just putting them under so much pressure, type of pressure that we've seen United be under so many different times. Also, De Gea didn't have much to do, but he played the ball out very well in this game. Had a couple opportunities where he was picking out fullbacks, picking out Dalot, picking out Shaw. And like you said, Rashford probably should have had the goal of this half, but it was just a dominant performance that you were hoping that you didn't get punished. You still see they got Son, they got Kane. you could see how dangerous they can be, but they were, I mean, especially in the second half, they were just stifled by Varane and Martinez. Those two look so good together.
No, it's a great point. I was worried that we might just lose the tempo in the second half. We came out just as sharp as the first, and it led to the, look, well, hey, you work hard, sir. Luck's on your side. 47th minute, get in.
A couple of years after their famous double under Bill Nicholson in 1961, so we're talking about probably the vintage Tottenham team. Here's Bruno Fernandes, and there's Anthony. And here is Jadon Sancho, and that is Fred! He scored! United penetrates at the Stretford end.
Well done to El Pastor, sir. He loves a shot. A nice deflection, but not any less than United deserve. They deserve the goal. They got it. We got a lucky deflection off the Spurs defender. But hey, Fred pushing forward, getting involved. Sancho does well, lay off the ball to him, and we got our goal. Finally, the breakthrough was huge. It was needed because you push and push and push and push and push, make yourself vulnerable on the counter, and the last thing you want to do after playing so well is give up a goal. Once we got this, it was like, it's our game.
Look, huge breakthrough. Doesn't matter how you get it. Probably should have scored at least 2 in the first half. Get a deflection. It's coming. When you're putting this much pressure on a team, it's going to go in. You're going to get a deflection. It's going to go off the post, rebounds. But, just keep putting it on net, and good to Fred. After that Newcastle game, he was getting slated. And that's the only thing you got to say about Fred. You got to say it. He has this in his locker. It's just not consistent, and it hasn't been consistent for a long, long time. And you could make that. You could also make the argument his positioning hasn't been consistent, and he hasn't had Casemiro behind him. So let's hope this is a step in the right direction in him playing like this much more often. But the real question is, what happens when Eriksen comes back?
It's a good question, because it depends on who you're playing, the team you're going against. One's better on offense, one's better on defense. And you were thinking today, like, Fred was in so many advanced positions that if he could pass like Eriksen, we would have scored like 5 goals. Like they would. I mean, Rashford would have had to score because he would have just been so many times 1-on-1. It's just that those passes are not easy for everyone to pull off for obvious reason. But like you said, sir, like,
we have options. We have options in midfield at Manchester United.
Position.
When was the last time you could say that? We have options in midfield for Manchester United. Like, Casemiro starting to get up. Been a long, long time. 49th minute, Marcus with a great chance again. You want to say he should score. You got to score at least one of them. You can excuse a lot of them, but you got to be doing better here. And he had a great day. His work rate was off the charts, insane. And if his finishing is a little off, that's no problem. You just got to kind of call it out that as a 9, you need to be finishing some of these. 49th minute, Marcus with the 50th minute, Kane slices their first decent chance of the match. LOL. Lads, it's Tottenham.
That's all I had.
Harry Kane. 68th minute, Dave saves on an offsides Kane. This was a huge save, even though it was offsides. De Gea, wise to it. You love to see it. And in the 69th minute, Bruno Fernandes.
Casemiro. Anthony. Rolled up for Bruno Fernandes. It's come down for Fred. Bruno Fernandes, Jim! An absolute sparkler for Bruno Fernandes. And Manchester United are most of the way there.
Sir, it's been a minute since we played that, but a great goal from Bruno. Fred can't stop shooting. When he gets one of those goals, he's going to keep shooting. But Bruno knows exactly what the corner of the net is. This is what we're talking about with Marcus. Pick his head up, place it into the net, and that's what Bruno Fernandes did today. He had a great game. all over the pitch, creating chances everywhere. He tries a lot. He makes big mistakes, but he makes unbelievable chances because he was all over the pitch and gets his goal. He's had a tough go of it the last year, but you know what? He's looking good under this manager, and I think he looks really good with Fred and Casemiro behind him and gets a much-deserved goal.
Yeah, I mean, Bruno Fernandes would have finished. I think you hit the nail on the head. He knows exactly where he's going to hit it before the ball comes to him and just places it, finishes it easy as you like. 2-0 to Manchester United. Pretty much killed the game here. I can't believe we didn't get tired. This team just kept going.
It's
74th
amazing.
minute, another great chance for Marcus. Marcus creating great opportunities. Another save from Lloris. Another one of these where, he should score. 76 minutes sub McTominay for Antony. Let's lock up shop. 81st minute, Bruno scores again, but he's offsides. This was a bummer.
It was nice.
At 87th minute, double sub Elanga and Eriksson for Sancho and Casemiro, and then obviously after the 90th minute, Ronaldo excuses himself, which is which is sad to see. We're going to talk about the Ronaldo walk off in the news section because I feel like that's like a proper Muppet debate that we don't want to clog up the match recap. But that's it. United win 2-0. Great performance all around. Erik ten Hag outclasses Antonio Conte. Tactically, the players showed up. They were brave. They played. They played the way Ten Hag wanted to play. And what a spectacular match at home against Tottenham. I mean, I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm blown away. You look at the last couple of games we played. Are you kidding me? Ammonia 3-2. We lost to City. We barely beat Ammonia. Barely beat Everton. Then we beat Ammonia in like the 90th minute. We draw Newcastle. Where did this come from? You look at the last 5 games. Where was this team?
They've been here. They've been getting. Look at it.
No, but
they should have. We
should
have won against Newcastle. We didn't play this well, of course. We haven't seen this team.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Go ahead.
How do you play this well?
He's a new manager. It's going to take time, sir. It's going to take time.
But that Newcastle game was not good. And this same team, arguably more tired, played amazing. The level that we were today is so far beyond where we were against Newcastle. And by the way, it was at home. You can't even say, it was away. The Toon Army, it was a hard place to play. You can't even make it. It's like we were at home against Newcastle, and it's like we looked blah. And then today we look like we could compete for the league today. We look like locked on top 4 today. We did. I don't know.
We looked locked on like top 2 or 3 team. I mean, we looked like a very good team.
We looked like could compete for the league. You could beat City playing that way. You could definitely beat Arsenal playing that way because we beat Arsenal. We didn't even play that well.
No, we didn't. We played well, but not like this.
This level looks like compete for the top 2. Could maybe obviously Shitty is on another planet. But that level today looked like no joke. No joke. Proper football, the right way to play under a good manager who's getting the best out of his players, and you just love to see it. But I have to make the comparison to where was that against Ammonia? Where was that against Newcastle? Because this was the same players playing pretty much.
No, it's true. That's consistency, and consistency comes with time and with experience and with training and getting through tough moments. And this team. Hey, listen, it's a new manager. He's still pretty young into his tenure. And this club and this squad, they've seen a lot of wishy-washy football and, the dropping of standards. And the guy has exceptionally high standards. He knows what he wants to see. Players are fighting for positions, which is where we want to be, which is every elite club. They have multiple players in each role. We're not quite there yet, but there are definitely people fighting for positions. You can feel that in the Shaws of the world, and even the Freds of the world, who weren't starting, a couple of weeks ago. Outclassed your boy Conte, sir. I had to say it just to give you a little bit of stick, but Erik ten Hag showed his worth today. It was unbelievable. I mean, if we can keep this up, you're not going to. We're going to have step downs, right? Because progress is not a straight line. There's going to be like deviations from this kind of track, but we know what this team has in its locker, and this team can play toe to toe with any team, maybe Bar City in the league.
Conte's my boy because he got the team that he got hired by halfway through last season into Champions League.
He did. He did.
Not because he won one match in the league. It's because he was able to get them into the Champions League, which is worth about $100 million, and you get to listen to that sweet, sweet music that now we're not listening to. So yeah, and you know what Conte is good at? He's good at melting down after like 1 year. So
he really is. He really is.
So by no means I think it'd be a decade of Conte. I thought it'd be like get us to Champions League last year, maybe. Who knows? Players walking off the field. Match recap looked great. 28 shots to their 9, 10 shots on target to their 2. Dominant performance at home for Manchester United. I can't remember the last time I read a stat sheet like that. That should have been like that. 52% of the ball to their 48% of the ball. Just an unbelievable performance. 8 corners to their 3. And Manchester United attempted 14 shots from outside of the box in the first half against Spurs out of 19 total shots. It's the most on record for the Red Devils in the first half of a game since 2003, 2004. I said it was like we haven't been seeing them play for a decade. It's been more than that.
2 decades.
Because that is a classic. It used to, when you and me started following this team around that time, is like you turn on the TV and you just have a great old time watching Manchester United just dominate fools.
It's true.
Like just dominate. And that's what we're seeing again. So I'll enjoy it for the day. You want to get into the table here, Alex?
Yeah, just to give updates or close your ears if you must. Puts United back in 5th place. Arsenal are sitting pretty, 4 points ahead of City in first. City on 23 points, Arsenal on 27, Spurs on 23, Chelsea on 20, and then us at 19 with Newcastle behind us, Liverpool behind us, some other teams as well. So United, for everything we've been through, we are 4 points behind 3rd place with a game in hand against Spurs, and we're only 4 points behind City. Obviously, we know they humbled the hell out of us a couple weeks ago. But you got to be said, this team, brick by brick, we're coming together. The manager, he has a vision. You know, he hasn't rotated that squad. That might bite him. We talked about that in the last pod and over many pods.
But it didn't matter today.
Did not matter today. They look, honestly, they look like they haven't played in weeks. They look like as fresh as I've ever seen them.
I put my hand up and be like, because we looked tired against Newcastle, and today we looked like we had legs for days. Couldn't believe it. So let's hope Chelsea is just. We smoke Chelsea. Absolutely smoke Chelsea. That's what I want, sir. What do we know? Let's check in on the manager. Let's get into a presser.
Dominated tonight against a very good team. I'd imagine you're delighted.
I don't know if delight is the right word. I'm happy. I just told them, the team it was enjoyable to watch you, and it was a great performance from the start till the end.
Was that arguably the best 90-minute performance so far under you?
I think so, but it's not about me. It's about it was the best performance of the team in this season, and that is what you want. You want to see the progress from the team, and that is what we have seen today. But not only today. I seen many games. You see it when you see Sunday. We were all disappointed, but also on the Sunday game where the clean sheet as today. So we see now that when you want to catch success, you have to defend proactive, and you have to do it with 11, and that is what we're doing in the moment. We're acting as a team, and that is always a base to catch success in the season.
What pleased you the most tonight? Pressing, or the defending, or the teamwork as a whole? What pleased you most of all?
Defending is a part of pressing, but also in possession. I think we were really good in switch of play, and our fullbacks did it really well. But I think they did all well. They keep the patience in opponent's half, because that is what Spurs is aiming for, to lose balls and to make quick counter attacks. We almost didn't let it happen, and that is a big compliment to the team. And it was one moment just before halftime, and there we had to break their counter. It was a really dangerous attack from them, but when you do that well, and when you have good rest defense, when you have patience on the ball, you create chances, and that is what we have seen before halftime and also after halftime. So we create a lot of chances, and we didn't allow them too many counter opportunities.
It was a team performance.
It's funny, sir. He either talks he gives you 6 words or he talks for a minute. But Erik ten Hag, very happy with the performance he saw today for good reason. I love the question. He's getting the friendly. He's getting the MUTV crew. And they're like, are you delighted by the performance? He's like, I am happy, not delighted. It's a hard man to please. I'll tell you what, he looks better and better every day in that turtleneck. Poor man, Pep, I'll take it. It was a great performance. He looked like a proud dad after his after his kid scored the winning goal. He was a bit glowing because he knows that team ain't performing the way they did today without whatever he's been doing for the last 4 months, just drilling into them. It's paying off because there is a style of play. There is a philosophy on the field that you saw that Rangnick, I'm sure, wanted, but we were pushing and pressing and hunting in packs in a way that I have, like you said, I haven't seen in years. And just the peppering from outside the goal, they never got the ball. And every time they try to put it up to Son or put it up to Kane, a mixture of Martinez and Varane plus 1 or 2 of the midfielders just came back and swarmed everything. We won every 50-50, every ball in the air. Unbelievable.
All right, sir, we got a next match. It is a big one. Stamford Bridge, the Chelsea scum. Oh, Saturday, October 22nd, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. What a kickoff time. What a match. Absolutely pumped that we're coming off of a huge result, going down to London, going to get some, hopefully, 3 points. Lifetime versus the Chelsea scum. We've won 81. We've drawn 55. We've lost 55. We own them, sir.
Tell me what you really think.
We absolutely own this club. The club who only won 1 Premier League title before they had billions of Russian money laundered through them for no good reason, for sports washing, for everything that came with their horrible owner, for all the victory and all the glory that Chelsea fans celebrate. They ignore all the issues that came along with it. They are a nobody club bought by Todd Bowley, private equity fund that going to milk them dry, just like the Glazers did to us. And they are a club on the decline, and one where we should be putting the nail in the coffin. Little history, first time we played them, December 1905. We drew 0-0 in the second division. Humble beginnings for both clubs in the early 1900s, but I believe United went on to win their first title in 1906. So, we did bounce back after that. Last 5 versus Chelsea, we've lost 1 and drawn 4, if you can believe it. We've drawn 4, 2 of those being 0-0s, 2 of those being 1-1s. And we did lose them in the FA Cup in 2020. So it has been pretty close for United. The last 5 for Chelsea coming in. They drew Brentford today. Not great. Prior to that, last Sunday, they beat Aston Villa. They did beat AC Milan in the Champions League. Shout out to our boy Freddie. They did beat Wolves 3-0 and then beat Milan again in the Champions League. So as far as how they've been doing, beating up on AC Milan, pretty good. Wolves, Aston Villa, but then kind of a down on Brentford, drawing 0-0 today. A little history on the club. Founded in 1905. They play their home games at Stamford Bridge. They won their first major honor, the league championship, in 1955. And the club won the FA Cup for the first time in 1970. Their first European honor was the Cup Winners' Cup in 1971, becoming the third only English club to win it. And the club has big rivalries with Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur, and also historical rivalry with Leeds. But like we said, Chelsea was nobody before Roman Abramovich. And obviously last year in May 2022, Todd Bowley, Clear Lake Capital, and Mark Walter acquired the club. So they have a new American ownership group. It's going to be interesting to see how they decide to run Chelsea. They did make a few strange buys, Kubali being one of them. Apparently they wanted Harry Magoo. Absolutely bizarre transfer strategy from Chelsea. So it's going to be interesting to see how that club is structured. But if you listen to interviews with Todd Bowley, he sounds like a smart guy. So maybe we should be worried. It's kind of an unknown of how Chelsea is going to proceed here going forward.
Like you said, they're not the same side they were under, free spending Abramovich, where money was free. Now they've got money-sucking American owners like we do, obviously smarter than the Glazers. Todd Bowley didn't just like land into his position, by birthright like the Glazers did. Sounds smart in interviews, about certain things, but their transfer strategy was a little disjointed, to put it lightly, over the last summer. That's partly because they didn't have a DOF, and he was kind of acting as DOF after the one under Abramovich left. And they've since appointed, I believe, a very strong DOF, or in the process of doing so. They're looking at real candidates, is what I'm getting at. They don't have John Murtaugh running the show behind the scenes. So I don't think that they're going to be able to emulate the same level of success that they've seen over the last decade, over the next decade, because, like you said, they're private equity owned now, and they are going after ROI, and ROI is achieved by spending money astutely and not overspending. And the Chelsea of before, while the net spend wasn't bad, they spent a lot of money for a lot of managers, fired a lot of managers, obviously. But either way, it's gonna be a big test. They've got a solid manager, Graham Potter. He's all over Sky Sports, so they love Graham Potter. They love him. They love Graham Potter. Like, I'm sure Graham Potter's a great guy, fine guy. They must be angling for him to be the next England manager, because they are like, they love Graham Potter. Can't get over how much they love Graham Potter. But
that's how the press is in England.
I know. They love the English. They love certain English.
And you know what? He's not playing Christian Pulisic because England's playing the United States men's national team in the World Cup. That is conspiracy.
There you go.
You heard it right here. You heard it right here. It's true.
That's a good point.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It goes so deep, dude. It really does. Graham Potter's got Southgate on the text. Don't play Pulisic at all before the World Cup. I'm sure something's going on behind the scenes. A quick footnote to my history mentioned there. In the 1906 season, we actually won promotion to the first division, and we won our first title in 1908. So when I talked about Chelsea when we played them 1905, we went on to finish runners up in the second division, go to the first division, first title under John Henry Davies and Matt Mangal in 1908. What a year, sir. But we were on the come up against that Chelsea team when we first played them back in the day.
Look at them now, sir. They were famous for having deep rooted hooliganism in their club in the 70s and 80s. Their academy had a lot of controversy in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, that we don't even need to talk about. But so they're a shit club. They're a shit club with like, they kind of been one of the best examples of sports washing. Whereas like, I think City they had as many fans as Chelsea. Chelsea actually has a strong following, especially in the States, especially abroad, because they're in London. They've been successful. But at the heart of hearts, they're a wretched club. They're a wretched club with, by and large, wretched fans.
They play the 3-4-2-1, although they have been switching their formation quite a bit. Aubameyang is starting, as Alex famously coined on the podcast. Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek, Sterling, Chilwell, Cucurella, Silva, Chalobah, and Kepa. I mean, the whole roster. We should beat them, though. I really do think this Chelsea team, under a new manager, trying to figure out a lot of things, trying to figure out a few ways to play. If we play anything like the way we did today, I think we'll do extraordinarily well. Going in injuries, Harry Maguire, his thigh is still bothering him. He is not ready to go just yet. Tony Martial, he was being evaluated. I think he will be day-to-day. Donny, no return date. Brandon Williams, no return date. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, no return date. So really looking at only Tony and Harry coming back. Could have a shout for both those coming in. Given those are the injuries, what is your lineup for Chelsea Scum?
Ooh, I'm probably wrong, because I think after a performance like today, he's not going to switch it up. But I think there are going to be some switches. De Gea, Dalot, Martinez, Varane, Malacia. I'm not sure it should be Malacia after how well Shaw played today. But hey, this 11 set in. Casemiro, Bruno, Eriksson, Rashford on the left, Anthony on the right, Ronaldo up front. What do you got?
I'm going to say Dave saves in net, Dalot, Martinez, Varane, Shaw, Casemiro, Fred, Eriksson. I'm going to go Rashford, Ronaldo, Anthony. Although Ronaldo probably should get the chop given the early exit.
The walk-off.
But I really do think he's so good at finishing. And in some of those positions, I couldn't say he would definitely score, because I felt like Rashford's pace got him into those opportunities. Right. I felt like Rashford did all the hard work to get to those opportunities that Ronaldo probably doesn't have the pace anymore. So it's kind of a coin flip there. I'm going to go back to Sancho, Rashford, and Antony. He's going to bench Ronaldo, unfortunately, even though I think he should start. You want to give us the bookies odds?
Absolutely. Headed into this, now this was updated. I did this before we won, so I imagine these odds have tightened. But before the win today against Spurs, Chelsea were heavy favorites, minus 110, 270, plus 270 for the draw, and then United plus 280 for a win down at Stamford Bridge. Obviously, last five between these two sides, draws and losses. We're playing Stamford Bridge, tough place to play. But United, if we can play like that, if we can play like we played today, we're going to be in good shape. What do you got for score prediction?
Sir, you go first.
I always go first. 2-0. Same result as today. A little bit nervier because I think Chelsea will be more in this game. I think De Gea will be called in some bigger stops today. I mean, it wasn't much doing. But United get a result. Rashford gets his goal. Bruno gets another. He ain't getting dropped. I think you said that. Can't wait for Saturday. What you got?
You got to rest him. You got to
rest who? They don't rest. He's not resting nobody.
Who's going to play against Sheriff?
Yeah, there you go, Donnie.
You're right. There's gonna be someone's gonna get the drop. So it could be Fred. I just think if Fred and Casemiro look that good, you got to maybe play them again, or you can maybe bring in McTominay because Fred ran so much, played 2 games close. So there's an argument for either one. I'm gonna go 2-2. I think we're gonna play in a similar way. Probably concede more than we should. Maybe a mistake. I felt like today it was, Tottenham's just got that small club mentality. They just shut down. I don't think Chelsea's gonna. I think Chelsea's gonna have a little more fight, is what I mean. Tottenham. After like first 15, they're like, oh, let's pack it in. Like that's a Harry Kane.
Harry Kane. I'll tell you what, Harry Kane looked like. He didn't look like he was anybody special today. He didn't look like no Holland.
I'm so mad that he didn't sign for City.
They still would have gotten him.
I know.
They still would have gotten him.
No, but it would have been great for Harry Kane to be on City and have that dynamic.
On the bench.
Poor Harry Kane. Yeah. All right, let's get into the news. All right, so United in the news. We're going to start this one off with the elephant in the room. That is Ronaldo leaving before the end of the match. I mean, this is a big story. Everyone's tweeting about it, hating on Ronaldo, stunting on Ronaldo. What do you make of it? It's clearly like it's a. I have the biased Ronaldo take. I'll let you do this. You're pro Rooney. I'm pro Ronaldo. That's just how we are. What do you say? Ronaldo leaves early.
I'm pro United, sir. I'm a huge Rooney fan, but
we're Muppets.
I know we're Muppets. So here's my take on Ronaldo. Whatever, no big deal. Game was a foregone conclusion. Wasn't being called upon as manager to come in. Obviously, it's a bad example, but everyone knows that it's everybody else in Ronaldo. He's a special person. He's not like everyone else. He's a superstar. He's one of the most famous athletes or famous individuals in the entire world. We call him the planet. And you know what? It doesn't send a great example to the rest of the squad, but like other places, he sends a good example, and he knows he's not starting. He knows he probably isn't starting on Saturday either now. And it's unfortunate, but it comes with the territory. If you sign Cristiano Ronaldo, he wants to play every game, sir. Every game. And if he even gets pulled off a minute early, I guess if he got a hat and he's getting a round of applause, he wouldn't mind it. But by and large, he never wants to miss a minute. I watched a documentary that was on Amazon Prime, done on Ronaldo in 2015, so it's super dated, but I don't think he's changed that much as an individual. And he's just the most competitive person. You don't get to be that good unless you're just so effing competitive and have the highest unbelievable standards and never want to lose an inch. And that showed today. So he was just pissed, walked off. I'm bigger than you. A little bit of mind games with the manager. It's unfortunate. I wish it didn't happen. I don't want it to cloud the issue of us playing great and getting a really good result. So that's why I don't think it's that big deal. And I hope United fans and football fans by and large don't make this into the story.
It is a huge deal. I mean, everyone's talking about it. It's
didn't he already do it once this season?
Everyone's the problem that I have is clearly it's not it's embarrassing behavior from Ronaldo. There's no excuse. You got to be a team player. You look at the club and the team's playing well and you're not in it. That's probably hard for Ronaldo to see. And I agree. That's where we should be headed. So you look at us as a club. Ronaldo is not the future Ten Hag is the man for the future. It is his club. It is his club to run. He can decide who plays 100%. Now, the way United's works at the moment is we have Ronaldo on this big contract. It was probably shoved down Eric Ten Hag's throat. So he probably didn't want Ronaldo. But the problem is we don't have another number 9. So accounting for that, Ronaldo does need some accommodation to his giant-sized ego. And I do think Ten Hag has been like definitely aggressively like clapping Ronaldo. Like every time he can, he like takes him off, doesn't play him. Like today he could have subbed him in. Like he could have subbed him in. You know, you're up by 2, put Ronaldo on. Like he's trying to get records. Like there's got to be some. You got to show him some olive branch a little bit to like man management. There's a little bit of man management. If he's your only other number 9, it's not like we can't negotiate. You want to try to keep Ronaldo happy in some way, and I don't think it goes against United. I just think it's like tonight you probably go up and you put him on, like to keep him happy because now Ronaldo's mad. Now the headlines are everywhere, and that's the problem with Ronaldo too. And it's not Ten Hag's fault that when there's drama with Ronaldo, it takes over the football echo chamber and such a distraction for the team that it's almost like keeping them happy is not that hard, and it's just an easier thing to do for everyone. And I understand that it is not right at all, but it's like we almost have to manage the damage until we can move on from him. And that's probably January, but we're not even going to sign another number 9 in January. So it's really a strange situation to be in, but I just think Ten Hag is not doing himself any favors. Although it is the right decisions that he's making, I think he could do it a little easier on Ronaldo's giant ego, because even I'm like, whoa, that's a little. He's definitely stepped over the line as far as like not respecting
Get the fuck
him a little bit.
Cry me a fucking river. No way. I agree with a lot of what you just said, but like, dude, he's there. He gets paid money to win fucking games. And I'm talking about Eric Ten Hag. His job is on the line from the second you step out into the manager's box in Manchester United. This is like one of the hardest jobs in the world, by and large, because of our front office and how shit it is, and our owners, how shit they are, and the team he walked into. I do hear what you're saying, but like Ronaldo is getting paid $50 million a year. I know he wants to play, but I think no matter what, he's going to be mad because he's not going to be playing every single game for 90 minutes. And he wants to win, and we wouldn't have been able to play the performance we played today with Ronaldo starting.
I didn't say start.
I know, even come out for 10 minutes,
said
but
him
like
play.
I know,
I
but
said
it's
put
like,
him on for 10 minutes. That doesn't hurt. Dude, it's not like that out of line.
we're still pressing the hell out of him, bro, into the 90th minute. So I hear what you're saying.
He's literally played Ronaldo.
But he's so sensitive.
He's literally started him only in Europa League, dude.
He started him against Newcastle. What are you talking about?
No, like but like that was like maybe his second start in the league.
And how did he do?
He starts. How did the team do? You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not trying to say. I never said Ronaldo should start. Ronaldo should not have started. Ten Hag was right. I'm just saying, like, throw Ronaldo a bone in the last 10 minutes so that you don't have to deal with this.
No, it's true.
Dude, like,
it's
if I'm
true.
the manager, like, I'm not. Ten Hag's right. I'm just saying, like, if I'm the manager, I'm gonna be thinking, like, hell yeah, I'm right. We're up 2-0. All right, Ronaldo's like kind of a brat, and he's gonna throw his toys out the crib if I don't get him some game time. So I'd be thinking, okay, the game's won. Give Ronaldo a sniff here. And try to throw him a bone to keep him from blowing up, because I definitely think Ronaldo blowing up is not good for the team. Have this circus of Ronaldo drama, which right now the error was keeping him. It was a mistake keeping him because Ten Hag never wanted him.
Yep.
Ten Hag is managing the team like he never wanted him.
Yep. And
it's clear that the mistake was above Ten Hag. The mistake was made by Joel Glazer, who probably said, I'm not getting rid of Ronaldo. And Ronaldo wanted to leave. Ten Hag wanted to leave, and he's there. And now Ronaldo's pissed, and Ten Hag ain't taking any nonsense from nobody. And that is probably the right way to do it.
Yep.
But the only way you can argue that Ronaldo Muppet take them kind of arguing is based on the fact we don't have another number 9. So if Rashford goes down injured and Martial's out injured, you need Ronaldo. So it's like, is a pissed off player going to play well for you? You know, isn't there an element of that? Like, we got to keep people happy a little bit.
But can you keep him happy? It's like
No.
Like even if he got put in the 80th minute when the game was gone, would he be happy? Probably not. Like, he's not gonna be happy because he doesn't want to be here. He wanted to leave. The manager wanted him to leave, and the only guy that didn't want him to leave was like the guy who's in Florida, doesn't even watch the fucking games and just knows that Ronaldo sells kits and makes it easier to do commercial deals because you have the most famous athlete in the world that plays for your club. But here we are talking about it, sir. Instead of talking about real news, but it'll be talked about up until the Chelsea game.
You know what?
I know what you're saying. I don't disagree with you either. He's just a baby you got to like manage.
Like, you and me both know that Ten Hag is like a hard man, hard mofo, right? He's a hard man to please, and he's a hard mofo, and he's treating Ronaldo like a hard mofo. And you know what? I almost prefer that and us play the way we did today.
Wouldn't you?
And look, it's just, there is part of you that hates to see that type of dysfunction from a club legend, like the way Rooney was treated at the end, the way Rio Ferdinand was treated by Woodward. You'd like to see Ronaldo like Ten Hag could basically say, okay, I got this way I want to play, and Ronaldo's not going to be part of the core, but like I'm going to get him in out of respect for the club and manage the situation so it doesn't like explode to the way it looks like it's going to go. Because right now he's got to bring the hammer against Ronaldo, and then Ronaldo might not show up. he
might just disappear to Portugal pretty soon, like he sometimes does.
And he's a circus. He's such a media circus that you just don't like to see that around the club. I'd rather the news be, think about it, great win. We had to table this conversation to the news. Great win. Everyone's talking about Ronaldo. That's not fair to the team. That's not fair to the players that played. That's not fair to Ten Hag.
On that note, move on to the next story. Because you're right. It's true. We're going to talk about the first story we talked about, I think for good reason, because everyone's going to be talking about it.
The problem is, and no one's going to talk about it, is that Joel Glazer kept Ronaldo. Ten Hag didn't want him, and Ronaldo didn't want to stay. Ronaldo should have left. He should have gone to Sporting Lisbon. We should have avoided his contract. We should have saved his wages. He should have gone, and we should have tried to sign a youngster striker or something. It was a bad mistake, and this all comes back to the Glazers. They have no plan. That is the problem. Don't blame Ten Hag. Don't blame Ronaldo. It's a bad situation. It's two good people. It's like being in a long distance relationship. Two good people, bad situation. You know what I'm saying?
Well said, sir.
Two good people, bad situation. All right, next bit of news here, sir. You want to get into this one?
This is a quick one. We don't have to really talk about it too much. It was just a comment that Sean made about the fact. I'll get right into it. The good thing with this manager is if you're not playing well, then you won't play. In the past, that's not been the case, but I think the good thing about the manager is that he's keeping everyone on their toes. He makes sure that everyone is 100% every day. If you're not at it, then you won't play. That's a positive thing. We all know that, and for me, I've just got to keep working harder. And you know what? Shaw, we've been hard on him. We call him meat pie. Now he's impossible meat pie, looking fit. It kind of harkens to what we talked about with Ronaldo, right? If he was playing well enough, he'd be playing because this manager just cares about winning. And that's just good to see because I don't know if it was a Ralph thing, but it was probably certainly an Ole thing. And this is a player that needs someone behind him, pushing him to his best, right? And Malacia is getting the vintage Shaw performances we all wanted to see.
And that's what Manchester United has always been about.
That's right.
Next bit of news here, European Super League. New German CEO reveals their plans to launch new Super League in 2 years' time. And it is like, have you seen the video? There's a video on social media where he goes through kind of how everything's broken. He does.
What's his argument for what's broken? I don't understand. I didn't see that part. Like, because they're not making enough money.
So I don't remember the points just like live here.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No. He says, I have it right here. Okay. He says, number one, European football is losing its undisputed leadership position. So he's basically saying that European football is not getting the viewership it should amongst young people because the product's diluted. So the idea and the argument I'm going to extrapolate from that is that Manchester United is not playing Juventus in the Champions League. All these big clubs are not playing each other. That's what people want to see. That is what will make the most money and get the most eyeballs. Therefore, those teams should be playing. So therefore, like Manchester United should always be in the Champions League and never be out of it, instead of it being on merit and us playing on Thursday nights. His second point is, he says the current financial model of football is broken. He says he attacks the external sources of external financial resources like clubs who are currently winning are PSG and Manchester City, because they have outside investors who can just pour unlimited funds, and therefore they have unfair advantage against clubs who are only sourced commercially, and that there needs to be renewed regulations against that because UEFA has failed at doing that. That is strange that he's arguing for that. That, to me, I agree with, but don't get it twisted. This Super League is all about making more money.
That's it.
So they're going to say everything they can. And then he says, number 3, clubs should be sovereign and the master of their own destiny. And the reason he talks about that is because it's sort of an antitrust argument against UEFA, because UEFA owns the rights to European football when the clubs can't organize their own championship. Because if you look at the way the Premier League is organized, the clubs organize and vote, and UEFA is top down, and the clubs don't have a say in necessarily how it's run in the same way. So there is an argument that clubs throughout Europe should be able to organize and create their own competition instead of UEFA having a monopoly on that. And so those are the main arguments that they make. But don't get it twisted. This is all about money. This is all about securing more money. And there is something to be said about, I did tweet this out and somebody said, hey, look at the Champions League in 24-25. How this going to look? It's going to look ridiculous. It's like a group of 10 teams, round robin, extraordinarily confusing. UEFA ain't no saint either. But for me, the purity of the competition has to be, you have to qualify for it. There has to be, you have to qualify for it. It can't be Manchester United just always in it.
Amen. I totally agree.
What do you make of it?
No, I mean, I like how he uses the nation state thing in the middle and the end. The last 2 comments are generally acceptable. Obviously, everyone agrees that nobody can really compete with the cities and the PSGs of the world, but that's just, you need more regulation across the sport. And to, I don't buy number 1 at all. The fact that everybody wants to watch the big time teams play, which they will.
The kids are watching Twitch.
Well, the kids the kids ain't all
but
right.
That's what you need to compete
they
for,
always say the kids are they want short video content, real small clips, because they don't have the attention span to watch a 90-minute football game at their age because they got too much ADD. When they get older, they'll be able to sit down and enjoy a match. I don't think you're gonna bend the will of the game to young people, even though we ain't that old. And at the end of the day, sir, it's all about money. This is all about money. UEFA at the same time, they're all about money. FIFA, they're all about money. These international sports leagues are just corrupt by nature because, dude, there's so many conflicting interests, and there's just so much cash involved, and arguably random people have huge say about who gets to host these tournaments, i.e., the Qatar World Cup, the Russia World Cup. That's just kind of the nature of the game, and that they're just trying to get in the bid. They're just trying to show up at the table and be team money with the Super League, right? It's instead of having UEFA or FIFA, which is super shady, they want some banker-backed Super League.
Yeah, but that's going to come
exactly the same.
But here's the deal, that's going to come. I mean, this is going to I don't want this to happen. It's going to happen, because it's an antitrust lawsuit, and UEFA is a monopoly, and the clubs, if you look at the NFL, the owners own the league, and they all vote. And then the league does whatever is best for the league and grows the revenue pool for the league. The fact that there isn't that for European football is crazy, because they should be playing Champions League games in New York. The NFL is playing games in London every other weekend. They're going to play in Germany. They're growing insanely. They're talking about creating expansion teams in Europe. The NFL is dominating and kicking ass as far as making money and expanding the global brand of the sport. And because UEFA is this bloated cash cow, they're not expanding and innovating as fast. And I can totally see how the NFL is kicking European football's ass in Europe right now,
In making money.
And they're able to do it because it's like a consortium of like the NFL owners just deciding whatever's best. And obviously that means like the players don't have a say in like wanting to go to Germany for a game, but they're just making so much money and they're so successful that I think this is kind of the Super League is a call out to that, is basically creating a league with 32 teams like the NFL and then playing games in like Asia and America and just making so much money and expanding the global brand basically.
Well, your only priority is money. Then that's the bar, right? The NFL is like the worse you do, the more you get rewarded in terms of like your draft pick. And global football, European football, it's the opposite. The worse you do, the more you get fucking punished because you get relegated, you don't make as much money, you suffer, the brand suffers. It's the sport we love, but like, I know money always wins inevitably. But like,
it will. How much money would this add to Manchester United? This would add so much money. This is the new stadium to the Glazers, not to you and me. This is a new stadium to the Glazers. This is $200 million a year. This is what they've been counting on. They ran the club into the ground because they thought that this was going to happen. And if you could imagine the reach of the league, if it was like Bayern Munich and Manchester United playing in the United States, playing at the Meadowlands, Cowboy Stadium, like what the reach would be, that's what this is headed towards, is something like insane like that. And I think it's inevitable because the amount of money at stake is so huge that somehow, some way that this will happen in some fashion. And it's going to be a battle between UEFA and then this group and antitrust courts. And it's going to take a long time to figure out, but this is always going to be a dark cloud hanging overhead. And ignore the nice pitch. This is all about making more money and kind of becoming like an NFL. I view the European Super League as like an NFL playing overseas, TV rights, streaming rights, like Super League Plus on your iPhone. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
And I'm good because I like the Premier League a lot more than the NFL for a reason.
It's a difference, but this is going to happen. Like the fact they're not playing Premier League games in New York is crazy already. If you really think about it, they are kind of behind the times as far as like expansion. They should be playing your Premier League games in other European countries because it's so popular. Like there's going to be a push and pull. There's always a push and pull. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's where the money is. And usually with greedy billionaire owners, like you look at the NFL, money usually speaks very loudly. Last bit of news, Cody Gapko says, I was close to leaving. He spoke to Ten Hag a few times. In the end, it didn't go through. It was a shame. He wanted to go to Manchester United, and this is a great example. Gapko could have signed him. Great player, striker. We need one. Kept Ronaldo instead. Now he's walking off. This is a great example of where we're at and why the Glazers and the DOF decided to have it this way.
And he's killing it at the moment. He's got like the top goal and assist contributions in Europe.
Yeah, no shit. Anyone we don't sign kills it. Anyone we do sign, like, it's like our hit rate is like sign someone if we don't sign them.
Sign him in January. Let Ronaldo go to
would have been a deal. $25 million.
25 million.
Absolutely.
25
it would have been
would have been
such a deal.
Oh my god.
Would have been such a deal. And then obviously we have the article from the Mail about Ten Hag hasn't decided the Gea and Marcus Rashford's contracts yet. What do you make of this one? It's just trying to create some uncertainty around their contracts. I mean, it's just the year extension.
Yeah, they're going to do the automatic extension. I think the automatic extension is like a foregone conclusion. Even I think this is more on the new contracts. And at the end of the day, he's the director of football. He's effectively the CEO. By he, Eric Ten Hag, and he's the manager. And right now, his job is on results. So he probably is not going to think about this until the World Cup. Then take a step back and be like, what do we want to do on contracts? Because, dude, he's in the thick of it. We got a game in 2 days against one of the best teams in England down in London. So, like, I would imagine he's just punting until later because it's not like we have a director of football who's astute, experienced enough to be making decisions like alongside Ten Hag. Like Ten Hag's in charge. He's going to tell him what to do when he has enough time to come up for air.
All right, jumping into the fan questions. At Jamal Mota, sir, so much in this game. The first half was a masterclass, except our finishing. Fred was pivotal. Bruno played well, and Casemiro was mint. That our most important, our back five looks solid in the way we haven't seen since Rio Ferdinand. and Nemanja Vidic. Ten Hag ball is here. Hashtag Blazers out. At Ty Kircher. That was some of the most fun I've had in a while. Some recent results have been frustrating. They've led to this fervor and tenacity. The whole group played as a team. Shout out Al Pacino. We bossed from start to finish. Welcome sight by all in the end, lads. It was Tottenham. And Maybach 13, quote, great result, 3 points and a clean sheet against a good opponent. Massive game against Chelsea. He's a pod darling, but not a fan of CR7 walking out early. There you go. No one can be a fan of that. I'm not defending Ronaldo. I'm just saying, could you massage that? Could you massage that situation and give him 3 minutes, give him 5 minutes at the end? I
was thinking that I think he'd be more pissed if he went on for 5 minutes.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a complete Ronaldo muppet. I'll just take the L. Like Ronaldo's like a selfish asshole, and he's just
he's trying to make himself
run
an
out
issue,
of the club,
so he gets the move in January. Like maybe he's actually being like, I'm gonna just be a complete, so that they have to deal me, where it's like so obvious. I'm just playing devil's advocate at the
No,
I
think, dude, you're like
knowing him. You know him. You know, dude, he's a maniac.
Here's the deal, dude. When a player wants to go,
you let him go.
Yeah. We've always said that. It broke my heart when Ronaldo wanted to leave the first time. But when he wants to go, you let him go, because this is what happens when you don't let players go. This is why our CEO sucks. Glazers suck. It's like, you got to let him go. He's never going to turn up and be like, all right, guys, I'm glad to ride on the bench and start in Europa League. That's great for me. Let's go. That's not going to happen, man. It's just not going to happen. And here we are. Look, that's it. That's the podcast. Thank you for listening. America Red Devils, for fans, by fans. Support the podcast. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/America Red Devils. Check out our store, americareddevils.store. Everything you buy supports this small-time operation. Check out our blog, americareddevils.com. Great fan-generated blog content. Lots of Muppet takes on there. Just like I was talking about Ronaldo today. I'm sure we'll get an article up about the whole walkout situation. Where were you when Ronaldo walked out before the end of the match? And this isn't the first time he did it this season.
No, it's not. It happened like a month and a half ago.
The second time. Also, write a review, subscribe, wherever. It goes a long way helping us. You got our top 10 downloads last 7 days.
You know it. Number 1, how you doing? Thompson Station, Tennessee. Denver, Colorado. Livermore, California. Belfast, Northern Ireland. Mount Holly, New Jersey. Sonderberg, Denmark, Roseville, California, Waynesville, North Carolina, Chicago, Illinois, and last but not least, Los Angeles, California. Appreciate all the American Red Devils listening week in, week out. Enjoy your week. United, flying high, sir. What a match. What a performance. What a game. On to the weekend. It's a big match. Chelsea scum. Don't let them live down that name. They'll always be the Chelsea scum, even if they're owned by an American.
I love to see it. What song you got us?
What do you think? Hollow, hollow, hollow. Enjoy the match. Looking forward to the weekend. Talk to you soon.
Let's go.